Count it down from 3 and 2 and 1, and we're live again. Welcome once again to the live stream show. And today we are going to ask the question, how can you get all the clients that you could hope for, that you could possibly attract, and not only a number of clients, but people who are exactly the right fit for your offer. And to help us answer that question, we have a special guest. Her name is Carden, and Anne is a business coach, a business growth strategist. She's a social media marketing specialist, and she is the author of The Expert in You. She helps people grow their expert business, and she's also the host of the Strategic Edge podcast. So she's founded and built 6 businesses of her own and sold 5 of them. So she's somebody who really knows the struggle, like the up and the down. If you're somebody who's got their own business and you have been in the struggle of up and down, Anne is someone who has been there, done that. Anyone who's ever gone through the creation and the then exit of 6 businesses, 5 businesses plus the one she's in now, that's phenomenal. So stay tuned. We are going to figure out where all the clients can come from and how to get them to rain down on us. Here we go. Recorded live in Boston, Massachusetts, this is the Livestream Show. In a world full of underexposed entrepreneurs, the Livestream Show is your gateway to a global community of live stream pioneers who dare to go live and create something special and unexpected, which could only happen because it was live. I'm your host, Brad Powell. Let's get on with the show. All right. So the kinds of things we're going to cover today include how you can build your business online without spending any money on ads. Think of that. How can you magnetically attract clients, customers, and new opportunities on a daily basis? And then, of course, turn these people who are out there who don't know anything about you, how do you turn them into true fans? How do you turn them into people who know and like and trust you and will follow you and bring their friends? So joining me today is Anne Carden. Welcome to the show, Anne.
Hi, Brad. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here with you.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're here too. And interesting enough, I'll share that earlier this morning, you were giving a presentation, a really great one, and I got to attend it. I actually took my time as part of my homework to sit in on your Zoom, and I was very impressed, and I'm excited to go over a lot of the same material today. So one of the things that I got right at the start was just this whole thing of every entrepreneur today is facing the daunting task of how to have and develop an online presence, an online interface, and how to do online marketing, how to use social media. And for most people, most of us, this can be a really daunting challenge. And so you were pointing out that there's a lot of things sort of in the gap of what we could be doing wrong. So do you want to just sort of start right there and speak to some of that?
Sure. Um, so often when people are starting on social media or they're starting to build their business on social media, they are doing tactics. They're out there, they get on LinkedIn, they start a LinkedIn profile, they get on Facebook, they get on Instagram, they start a YouTube channel, whatever it is they think they need to be doing. And they start everything with a tactical approach. And that is not the best way to get traction in your marketing. So I teach that you need to have a strategic approach to marketing. And a strategic approach is where you think about what is the end game here? What is that I'm trying to accomplish? And then you reverse engineer and you decide, okay, what are the tactics that I need to put in place to make that happen? So for example, if I want to get clients on LinkedIn, then I need to make sure that I clearly define a strategy to be able to do that. And that means, who am I trying to target? So it has to start with your market. Who are you trying to reach? The second thing is, what are you saying to them? Why should they listen to you? Why should they care? And then the third piece of that is, now where are they? And so you have to be where your ideal clients are. It's very different than offline marketing, where you can get in front of people, you can have a conversation, and you can, through that conversation, you can shift. And I might be talking to a financial advisor, and they say, I need help with video. Oh, I can help you with that. Okay. Or they say, I need help with my website. Oh, okay, I can help you with that. And so you can shift that conversation if you do various things, which most of us really do. But online, it doesn't work that way. Online, you become known for something. And this becomes part of your positioning. It's the outside perception that people see when they come across you in your business. And so your positioning and the outside perception needs to become part of your strategy. So when those perfect clients are seeing you for the first time, they know that you are for them. So it has to start with a strategic approach.
Yeah, I love that. And I really like the idea of positioning yourself well. I mean, this is the thing where a lot of people will tend to look out into the world and see what's the rest of the world doing? What are other people like me doing? And they'll seek to emulate them. They'll look at these huge, business heroes like Steve Jobs, and then you have a whole bunch of Steve Jobs wannabes, and
Right.
and so on, like, and on, like all across, like anyone who's in your field who's doing really well, they look at that and they go, okay, well, if they're doing really well and they're doing that, then I should do that too. And that's really not necessarily positioning yourself particularly well, is it?
No, that is not the way to build an expert business. You need to
Right,
be an expert.
right. So okay, so what are some steps? Like if I want to be obviously awesome, like I want to be the one and only for what I'm doing, what are some steps to put me there? What can I do?
Yeah, so I talk about a five-step, kind of a five-step system. So one thing in your marketing, in your online presence, whatever you're doing, you need to have a system that works, that's consistent and predictable. Now, it takes a little bit to get that system going and working, but most people, they're trying to do too many things, they're in too many different places, and so they don't work on getting one marketing system working really well. So I use kind of a five-step approach to making marketing work. The first thing is laying that foundation. It's really getting that strategy in place. Do you really know who it is you're trying to reach? Do you know who you want to have see you? Basically, who do you want to get eyes on your business and on you? The second thing is dialing in that message, so that what you're saying and what you're putting out there is going to resonate with those perfect clients that you want to get business from. The third thing is, now where are they? Determine where they are, and that's where you want to spend the majority of your time. That's where you want to get one system working really, really well. And then once you do that, you can add other places, you can add other things into your marketing. You can add paid traffic. There's a lot of things you can do. But if you don't have one great marketing system working, none of those other things are going to matter. So the first thing is, you lay that foundation. You determine, where are your ideal clients? What do I need to be saying to them? What do I want them to see me for? How do I want them to know me? And then the second piece is what I call positioning. And this is where you look like the expert for what you do. And you need to get specific online. So even though I can help almost any business do anything in their business, because I've built a lot of businesses, I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of business people, helping them grow and scale their businesses and build their business. And I've done everything from cash flow to profitability to marketing to sales to building their team, all of those things. It's very difficult to sell myself for all of that online. And so what I have to do is, I have to create this expert positioning, so that I bring people into my ecosystem, into my world, for what I know I'm really good at. And it doesn't mean that I'm not doing other things with them once they become a client. but I have to attract them first. I have to get them to first care about even wanting to get to know me, want to learn more about what I can help them do, all of those things. And so that has to be based on what your clients want, what your customers want, and it needs to be part of your positioning. So, what do you want to be known for? How do you want people to see you? One of the mistakes people make in their online marketing is they try to be a jack of all trades. Instead of a specialist, they are more of a generalist. And the problem with being a generalist online is you're now competing with the whole world. You know, when I started my business coaching and consulting almost 10 years ago, or around 10 years ago, I could go out to a networking event and I was the only business coach or the only business consultant. Maybe there were a couple more in my local market. But when you're online, I'm competing with hundreds of thousands, right? Of business consultants, business coaches. That's not even including people that are excellent in sales and people that are out there selling marketing services, because I'm also a marketing and sales strategist. And it's a real strength of mine in my business. It's a big piece of what I do with my clients. I have to also compete with them. So it's not just, the business coach and consultant. And so you have to position yourself so that you stand out in a category of one, because we're bombarded with about 40,000 messages a day, I think is what the last statistic was. And I said, I don't even know how people figure that stuff out. But how are you going to rise above all of that noise? And the online world is noisy. Brad, it's a noisy, noisy world. So how can you put yourself in a category of one? You need to have a positioning statement that really almost sells you as the expert for what you do. You have to have social proof, credibility. You want to build authority by educating and teaching your clients. So that's the second piece. Stop me at any time if you want to jump in
Okay.
here. I know I'm
Well,
talking.
what you just said about positioning statement, what does that sound like? Is there a template for filling in the blanks on a positioning statement? Or what does
Yeah,
your
I mean, I
positioning
think
statement sound like?
I think there's a lot of different ways that you can position it, and sometimes I tweak mine or shift mine, but my positioning statement is really what I sell. And so because I'm targeting coaches, consultants, and professional service providers, the services that I provide to them is ultimately I help them grow their business. Okay, that's what I do. But one of my specialties is I help them build an expert business to land higher value clients for 3 to 20 times more than they're currently charging. And I help them streamline their business and simplify it so that they get more freedom as their business scales into multiple 6 and 7 figures. Now, you can look at my LinkedIn profile, you'll see exactly how I have that position. But that's a very specific outcome or result that I help my clients get. And that is the strongest way to position yourself online, is show the outcome, the result, or the transformation that you get your clients. And so you want to make it very clear who you help, who you serve, who are those people. You want to really address the problems that they have. So, one of the problems that I know coaches, consultants, and professional service providers fall into is they don't charge enough. They don't charge a lot of times for the value and the expertise that they could charge for. So they really undervalue their services. And I know that they also go down sort of the volume rabbit hole that we are all taught online. You get a bunch of courses, you create a bunch of courses, and you get hundreds of thousands of clients, and that's an exhausting business model.
Yeah,
So in what I do, I address that. I help you get better clients. You can work with fewer of them at a higher level. And then there you can grow your business with simplicity and more freedom. And you can actually grow with a very, very small team. And you're giving amazing results, amazing transformation. But guess what? You're now making 3 to 20 times more than what you were. So you don't need as many clients. That is my whole strategy for helping people online. But within that, there's marketing, there's sales.
sure.
A good example of this is if I'm working with consultants that proposals, I teach them how to not spend hours and hours writing proposals, how to close the sale before they ever write a proposal or do a proposal. So there, within those things, there's, there's the positioning and all of that. There's the marketing, and then there's also the sales process. So does that make sense?
Totally. Okay, so you just clearly explained your position in your marketplace. Now, you were referring earlier to your system, and you also mentioned LinkedIn. I mean, is when you started with this particular position, was LinkedIn and sort of describe like where did you go first to find your ideal clients, and what was the system or what were the systems that you were putting in place so that this position was actually getting communicated?
Yeah, so when I first started, I was kind of doing a lot on Facebook. So I built a community, I positioned myself on Facebook, helping coaches and consultants with offers, like what are they going to sell? How are they going to package that up? How are they going to price it? How do they market that? How do they sell it? So I've always been doing this. I've been doing this actually for years in this specific market. But I started kind of on Facebook. And then as I was teaching my clients to get very high ticket clients that are working with much bigger clients, and I started working with bigger clients, LinkedIn was a better place for that. So that's how I really ended up on both platforms. So I'm very active on LinkedIn, I'm also very active on Facebook, but I didn't start out with both of those. I had a LinkedIn profile, I just didn't do a lot there. Most of my work was on Facebook. And that's one of the things I teach is figure out where's the best place. And you can always add on once you get one place working. And that's really what I did. I actually moved people from Facebook to LinkedIn, from LinkedIn to Facebook. My content really can move them back and forth. Sometimes I'll run a free training and people from LinkedIn will come to that. Or I move people from Facebook into LinkedIn. So I do like to cross pollinate my business in both places, but that's a little harder for people to do. So I don't necessarily recommend that. But yeah, the way I got started is here's what I'm going to sell. Here's who I'm going to sell it to. This is what I do. And you just get out there and you start putting that message out there and building your audience, which is number 3
Yeah, I
in my
like that.
process.
I just as an aside or not, this idea of when you know that two or more platforms are actually working for you, and the people who you'd like to reach are on both platforms or on and in fact several people do more than like they're on all kinds of platforms. This like what we're doing right now, this live streaming, we with the tools that I'm currently using, Restream, we are multicasting to multiple places. So what I like about this particular method is that we can now bring all the people who are my friends and all the people who are your friends and followers on Facebook together with a different group, which is all the people who are connected with us on LinkedIn. And then in addition to that, I've got, almost 4,000 subscribers on YouTube. And then I have several thousand people who follow me on Twitter. And now, you and I are basically hosting an event, hosting a party in the Thursday afternoon time for all of these people to come in and meet each other. And I can see people watching right now. If you have comments, just go ahead and say hello. If you've got a question for Anne, ask your question. We'd love to hear from you. And this is the idea is that, you can, like, I think it's a great idea to just pick your lane and go, okay, this is the place I want to start from and make that work for you, and through the miracle of multicasting, you can, in fact, as you start branching out and finding audiences in multiple places, you can actually, with the same amount of time and effort, you can be reaching them all at the same time and literally bring your tribe together into one location, which I think is amazing. It's an amazing
It
opportunity.
is amazing. We kind of take it for granted because we do this all the time,
Right.
but when you think about it, it's crazy what we are able to do, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I love it. And also when you start putting this out there to your audience, and I'm sharing it with my audience now, One of the things I teach is to get more visible. You can leverage other people's traffic, right? Other people's audiences. And that's a really powerful way to get more visibility on you and on your business. And that's exactly what both of us are doing right here.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. And I noticed that in your Facebook group, you're actually doing quite a bit of video, including live video. So let's just dive in a little bit and talk about like what is your strategy? How do you take a look at that? How do you apply that one method? How does it fit in with your overall system?
oh my goodness. Okay, well, you're going to love this, Brad, because I teach video is the magic. I mean, it is the magic. Here's the thing, it really allows people to see who you are. It allows people to get to know you, even though, yes, I'm talking to a screen, right? It still allows people to just sort of get that feel and that vibe. Do I like this person? Do I not like this person? Do I like what they're saying? Do I not like what they're saying? There's nothing faster. You can write good copy. Like I teach copywriting too. It's one of the things that I help my clients with. And you can write great copy. And we all know that great marketing copy can pull us in. But video is even more powerful than that. And here's the thing about video, it's a little hard. I mean, I guess you could lie, but it's a little hard to lie. Okay. People can see that. You can lie and copy all day long, right? But in video, I think people can see, oh, wow, this is a genuine person. This is a person that cares. This is a person that's sincere and truly wants to give. And, all those qualities that you look for when you look for somebody to do business with. And video is the most powerful tool to do that. Next to being right in front of someone, having a personal conversation, video is the second best thing.
Yeah, you are singing to the chorus over here.
I told you, I knew you would like that.
Yeah, so
It
let's
is
see.
powerful.
We've got one comment here from Candace. She says, "This is so relieving. Thank you. LinkedIn is later for me, Facebook first." Also less complicated. I find to work on Facebook and the very first steps you recommend, Dan. So she's asking for first steps on Facebook, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the same rules apply. Here's the thing, it's not about the tactics, it's about the strategy. And the strategy, when you get the right strategy in place, the same things apply across all channels and all industries. So here's the 5-step thing. Let me just give it to you really quick. First, get the strategy, the who, what are you going to say, and then where are they? Then you get you positioned in that place for those ideal clients. Then you've got to build your audience and you've got to get visible. All right. That's the outbound marketing that you're doing. That's where you're doing the outbound work to get the inbound results. So you build your community, your audience, your email list, all of those things through wherever you are. Then you've got to nurture people. The buyer, I call it the buyer's journey. You take them from a cold lead to a hot prospect. This is where you take people who have never heard of you and you turn them into raving fans, into believers, and into, if they have a need for what you want, to believe that you are the best person for them, that they want to do business with. And then from there, it becomes a sale. So that's the 5-step system. It is, it's just to repeat that, it's getting the foundation in place, right? The strategy, the positioning, building visibility, building your audience. You can do that anywhere, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you choose to be. These are the steps that you have to take. And building your audience, you can leverage other people's traffic. You don't have to do paid traffic. I teach don't do paid until you get organic working well, because otherwise you're going to waste your money. But you can also do the organic work to go out and get visible in front of people. And there's some other pieces that go into this. If we have time, I can go into this a little bit more. But then you want to nurture them. You want to turn them into believers, into raving fans, into followers, build that know, like, and trust until they're ready to buy. And sometimes they won't be ready to buy for a long time. And sometimes they'll be ready to buy immediately if you are exactly the answer they've been looking for. And then finally, you've got to make offers. You've got to get people into conversations, or you've got to get them to, you've got to make offers to sell. At the end of the day, we're all here to build our business. And that means sales have to be made. So that's my 5-step system that I teach.
Yeah, that's
But
great.
one in Yeah, I was going to say with Candace too, though, one thing that I do talk about is a lot of times people get on Facebook. I don't know what her background is, but this is one of the things I teach people. They get on Facebook and they could be selling higher dollar things on LinkedIn. They could be getting higher value clients on LinkedIn and they kind of get stuck in Facebook. So be careful about that because if you have a lot of expertise, you might be selling your services too low.
Yeah, so we got a question here from David. He asks, what do you think about sharing some expertise free to attract audience and how much?
Well, I am doing it right now, and I do it all the time. I
That's
think
right.
that's a
We're
great
doing it now.
question. We are. I think that's a great question. Here's the thing: I could give people everything that I can. Like my book, my last book that went to number one bestseller, "Expert in You." It's build a lucrative and impactful coaching and consulting business with your expertise. That book was created because I wanted to give people a way to get what I've learned over the course of the years of building my business, but maybe they're not in a place to work with me yet. Maybe they can't afford my services yet, or they don't think they can afford my services yet. And so that book was actually created as a way to give value. It's filled with massive, massive value. It's a lot of things I've learned. But here's the thing, even though I tried to pour everything I could into that book, it's not everything I know, right? I can't take, you know, 10 years of doing this and pour it into one book. People don't get transformations from books. People don't get transformations from coming to something like this. They might get a tip or they might get something that helps them, but real transformation comes when you work with someone. So, my question to or my answer to that, David, is you can never give away too much. You don't have to worry about it. In fact, if anything, it builds your value and it builds your authority and your expertise and shows people you really know what you're doing. That's my take on it.
Yeah, that's a great answer. So it's getting close to the end of the half hour here, and I have one last question for you. At the end, like at the top of the strategy pile here, we've got nurturing, and then we have converting it into a sale and actually making offers. And so, what do you, I mean? I know from experience that lots of people tend to linger and they're out on the sidelines and they're waiting for, I don't know, whatever they wait, and 2 years 3 years later all of a sudden they show up and go, okay, I'm ready now. And they've been nurtured all this time, and
Mm-hmm.
for whatever reason they didn't jump in at any time earlier. However, I know that there are things that you can do to shorten that cycle, and sort of what do you suggest around in terms of systems that you create? You're on
Mm-hmm.
Facebook, you've got a Facebook group. What can people be thinking about doing so that the time frame between when someone meets you and starts recognizing that you have something to offer that might really help them, and then actually them getting to a place where they go, okay, here we go, I'm ready. So what are some steps or things to put in place to make the people who may be in a place of they're already problem aware, they're already even solution aware, so they can say, yes, I'm ready now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there are a lot of things you can do within your content, that you get people on your email list so that you can nurture them on your list. You can nurture them obviously in a group or on a platform. There's multiple ways to do that, but I want to really just sum this up. To me, it's the top of my pyramid, the top of my 5-step process, and that is conversations. You've got to have conversations with people. You can't. The sale is going to be made in a conversation. The sale is going to be made in a message. The sale is going to be made in an inbox. People are, they don't realize that. Now, it's wonderful when people come right into your inbox, and I get it all the time. They come right into your inbox, or they book on your calendar, or they get into your, they email you and they say, oh my gosh, you're exactly what I've been looking for. I want to work with you. That's amazing when that happens. But you know what? If that's not happening, then you have to put yourself in conversations with people. And the great thing about a Facebook group is when they're coming into your community, it's your community. you really are kind of given permission at that point to do that with them, right? Because they're coming to you, you're giving all this value, you're you're giving your time and everything that you've got and pouring into that group. To me, that is the same as giving someone permission. I don't never have a problem reaching out to someone in my Facebook group in Messenger and saying, "Hey, thanks for joining my group. I'm happy to have you in there. How can I support you in that group?" Conversation, right? Just show up and care. Show up and ask, "What do you need?" I'm not trying to sell them. I'm trying to find out what it is they need, how I can best give them value in that group. And it's the same thing on LinkedIn. When you get into a conversation with people in their inbox, hey, how can I be a good connection? And be genuine about it. How can I be a good connection to you? What is it you need? How can I connect you to somebody that might help you? Show up and just care and just build a relationship with people. That's where the sales are made. And if you're not ever doing that, you're missing the whole point of social media. Even though we're using it for business, there still is a social aspect to it, right? You still want to build relationships with people. And I like to tell people, being online is the same as being offline. If you're standing in front of someone at a networking event or at a business meeting or a conference and you're having a conversation, how would you treat them? How would you talk to them? What would be the things that you would go back and forth in a conversation? It is no different online. It's no different. But that's how you can speed it. People buy from people they know, like, and trust. We hear this all the time. You can speed that know, like, and trust by just getting into a conversation with people. I hope that's helpful.
No, that's great. I like it. Well, you basically just gave us this two-part formula for success. Show up and care. Just do those two things. That's so great.
Not real difficult, is it? And don't
No,
forget to make offers.
right, right. Show
You
up,
have
care,
to.
and make offers.
Yes, yeah, you have to do that. Sometimes it's funny, but sometimes people do forget to do that. I'm always on to my clients when I'm working
Yeah,
with them. Okay, when was the last time you put an offer out there? Because they show up and they do all this stuff, and at the end of the day, they forget really why they're doing it all.
right,
And you have to sometime, if people don't know how to work with you or what you have, they're not going to buy, right? So you have
right.
to make an offer, let them say yes or no, but you have to do that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So if someone is watching, listening, and they're saying, I want to grow my expert business, I want to build my authority, and they want to work with you and get your help doing that, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Yes. So if you want to book right on my calendar, which you're welcome to do, you're just going to go to acarden.com. That will take you right to my scheduler, and you can book on my calendar and we can have a conversation about what it is you need. But I'm on LinkedIn. You can reach out to me there. You can reach out to me on Facebook. You can get in my Facebook group if you like to be consistently taught and trained and all of that. My Facebook group has a couple thousand people in it, and I'm consistently doing trainings and offering value in there. So those are going to be the best ways to
Okay.
get a
What's
hold of me.
what's the name of your group? What's it called?
So the name of my group is called Next Level Growth: Coaches, Consultants, and Experts Scaling to Seven Figures. It's a long name. I can give you the link, Brad, if you want to put it with
Sure, we
your
can put that in the
information.
show notes. And
Yeah.
next, just people, if you go to Facebook and you type in next level growth, I'm sure you'll find it. It'll come right up.
Yeah. Coaches, consultants, experts, it'll probably come up. Yes. Or you
All
can
right.
find
Well,
me and I'll give it to you.
this has been fabulous. Thank you so much for coming on. This has been super helpful.
Thank you
And
so much for having me. It's been fun.
yeah, so everyone else, you guys who are still here, um, I have one ask for you, and that is if something that Anne shared today was helpful to you, and you can think of at least one other person in your network. This is just a little tip on how to grow your network and sort of make your authority and self worth more valuable to all the people around you. Is that when you discover something that's really amazing, like you just go, oh my gosh, this was so great. And then without looking for anything in return, you share it. Like when you come across a really good book, You can share that with somebody or even gift it to them. Say, here's a book. Well, if today's episode was helpful to you, find someone in your network who might benefit from this, might go, oh my gosh, that was actually really helpful for me. Thank you so much. And share this episode with them. That would be great. If you want to go in and binge all of the episodes, just go to thelivestreamshow.com. All the episodes are there. You can binge to your heart's content. And always, it's best to join us live every Thursday at 3. So until next Thursday, I will see you in the next video. So long.